Hi, I'm Josh Bell with the Miami Marlins. I wear NeuroGuard to help with strength and coordination when I'm in the weight room, and help with balance when I'm on the baseball field.
One of the most comfortable, reduces concussion, increases performance. You can't get a mouthpiece like that on the market.
Not only is it a great product, it's super easy to use. I recommend it for any player at any age at any level. Thank you guys so much, and go check out NeuroGuard Plus.
NeuroGuard mouthpiece makes it easy to breathe while playing basketball. The unique design is not as bulky as any other mouthpiece and makes you feel safe in concussions.
NeuroGuard. They control my breathing while I'm riding. It stops me getting concussions while I wreck. It's very easy to use, so go pick one up today.
You know, I'm still doing stunts. You know, and the concussions I've got, I feel much safer with that. I'm doing, like I said, I'm doing a whole lot better in the gym. So NeuroGuard Plus, once this one wears out, you've got a customer for life, because I'm telling you people, NeuroGuard Plus is the way to go, and me, Mark Ash, says so.
Parents, kids, coaches, NeuroGuard. It's the future. Stay tuned.
Hey, I mean, that was a good point.
I think we might start seeing some go back.
Lights are bright on Friday night, fall in small Texas town.
So I have to ask all you 3A top 10 teams, are y'all okay this week? Man, what an absolute crazy week of high school football across the state. But 3A was one of the big ones. Upsets aplenty. Now, a couple of these, not really truly upsets, but still at least rankings and all that. And, of course, as always, we're here to talk about it. I'm Terry Bennett. That's Grant Goodwin. This is Sideline to Sideline, the 3A edition, brought to you by Big Country Blitz, Lazy Dog, Kettle Corn. We'll have more about them coming up. I'm actually talking with him tomorrow about his ad and stuff. I cannot wait to try the product. And then, of course, also NeuroGuard Plus, our title sponsor.
Huh?
Yeah, I love Kettle Corn. I like Kettle Corn more than I do popcorn.
I like kettles.
Okay. Hey, how you doing today, buddy?
Good. Kettles are my passion.
This is the third show of the night, and if you know,
Thank
you
you.
know.
Thank you.
You're welcome. It was already a weird second show. The second show, 4A show we were doing first. If you don't know, we always do the 4A show. We always do 2A first, and then whichever game we're going to, if it's not a 2A game, we do that second. But technically, that's the first of the longer shows because 2A is a little bit shorter. And, man, we were going great. 4A, we got through the first segment in 22 minutes. Man, this is awesome. And then I forgot, Grant's drinking Shiner tonight. And it's like it almost –
Oktoberfest.
It almost worked at the exact same time.
Almost November.
It's almost worked at the exact same time when I said that show went totally off the rails. So you want to check that out. It's really fun. But hey, the 3A football season went off the rails last week, dude.
Oh, it did.
I mean, you had Titanic matchups. You had close games that really ended up not being close. You had upsets aplenty. Where do you want to start?
Let's go to a game you watched, a game I should have been at instead of in Sunray, Texas, which the Sunray Panhandle game was awesome. It was awesome.
I mean, you could have been at 30 games this week with how good this week was.
Hitchcock Columbus was my second choice, and I took Sunray. Now I'm second guessing here as Hitchcock beats Columbus 37-36 in overtime. You watched this game.
No, I didn't.
I thought you did watch it.
What are you talking about?
Online. You did.
Yeah, so
I
this
got
is
the hiccups, by the way.
Well, yeah, this is the game I ended up focusing in on. I was trying to bounce around. First off, everything we thought about these two teams were real, but I am extremely worried. Before we get into the game, I'm extremely worried that these two teams might have just knocked each other out, especially Hitchcock. If you haven't heard, their stud quarterback, Lloyd Jones, tore his ACL. He will be out for the rest of the year. Now, in saying that,
he went out early though, right?
Well, yeah, I'm about to say
earlier.
In saying that, and here's, I did not have sound on, so I don't know names. I tried to find information on this game afterwards, and I couldn't. In saying that, Hitchcock still, they were scoring. And so basically this game, Hitchcock started out blazing up 2 scores. Columbus would claw back. Hitchcock would get that 2 score back. Columbus would claw back. And then it got down into the last part of the game, and Hitchcock scores, and Columbus has the ball, and it's 4th and 20. I think it was 25. And they basically throw if you ever played old school college, and I know you didn't, but for the people that played video games, if you ever played old school college quarterback on the college football game, what you did is you took the snap and you just ran 50 yards back so nobody could get you and you could throw the ball. That's what Schobel did. He ran like 20 yards back on 4th and 25, throws it off of his foot, running to the side, and hits his guy. I think it was Braylon Fisher. And if I'm wrong, Jeremy Hargrove will tell me. And they get the touchdown, a miracle, and then missed the 2-point conversion and end up losing 37-36. The Hitchcock defensive line was legit, man. That is the thing.
Didn't you say their offensive line looked a lot better than they did last year?
Yes,
because last year in this game they left a lot to be desired.
Yes.
Up front.
But I'm more impressed with their defensive line. And people be like, well, wait a minute, they gave up 36 points. Yeah, but dude, only giving up 36 to Columbus is pretty good.
Yeah.
And for the most part, Hitchcock controlled the narrative. This shows you how special Columbus is to not have the narrative all night. I never felt that they never panicked. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to say this right now. We've seen a lot of great quarterbacks in our time, and we've talked many times about how last year, and Schobel and Lloyd Jones III were parts of last year. 3A Division I had some of the best quarterbacks we had seen in a long time. But to me, Adam Schobel just continues to show why he is going to be playing for a long time.
Yeah.
This dude is special. He's big. He's got the size. He can move. But the biggest thing for me is the game never gets bigger than him. And he was special. Lloyd Jones III was special. Again, Columbus, though, they've got issues. Rigdon's going to be out. Now, they're saying he's going to be back for the playoffs, so they should be fine, even if he has to miss a round. But Columbus came out of this game bruised and battered. Hitchcock came out of this game bruised and battered.
It's a street fight, right?
It really was. This was the way a rivalry is supposed to work, know, and it was just every time you thought one team was like, okay, here it goes. Hitchcock's about to stretch it out and win. Nope, Columbus would claw back. And then you go, okay, well, Columbus is about to, nope, Hitchcock would do it. It was like Columbus versus Belleville on steroids. That's the only way I can explain it to you, since that we were the game we had. I just legitimately hope that Hitchcock is able to still be a force in this region. And man, sometimes I don't, we care about what happens, and it sucks if Hitchcock doesn't go far, but this game will not be forgotten in a long time in this storied rivalry.
Sounds like I got to go back and watch that one maybe tomorrow.
Yeah, it was really good, dude.
All right. Troy 59, Little River Academy 28. Troy's now 7-1. Their only loss was to Franklin, which was by 2 or 3 touchdowns. But Troy, other than that, is just blowing and going, right?
Yeah, the Trojans on the year, and I think that game was 56-34,
something like that. Yeah,
and the one knock you could have on Troy is the one. Well, I say that Maypearl. I know Maypearl lost this week, but that was a good game, and Maypearl is legitimately a solid program. But that's probably their biggest win of the year, like the one win you can hang your hat on. That's a little bit
outside
concerning.
of Franklin, though. That's the only chances they have.
Exactly. I mean, you play who you play.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, right. Very impressive win for the Trojans. And hey, I want to point out, and I know why. People are going to say, well, it's because they played the bottom of the district. They have, but Cameron Yo, after going 0-4 in the district, is sitting at 2-1. And if they can win one of the last, they won't win this one against Franklin this week, but they got Little River Academy to play at the end of the year, and that's a very winnable game.
Yeah.
So just good credit to Yo for kind of bouncing back after a really tough start. But yeah, good win for Troy.
All right, Gunter 52, Blue Ridge 21. What a game, because look, Blue Ridge is much improved. Blue Ridge is a legitimately solid football team right now, and Gunter this is a very impressive win, 52-21 over a Blue Ridge team that a lot of people don't even probably pay attention to, right?
Yeah.
But Blue Ridge is pretty solid.
Yeah, this was their second loss. Blue Ridge's losses are to state-ranked 2A Honeygrove and state-ranked 3A Division II, number one in the state by like 7 steps, Gunter. I had seen Tigers because of Commerce. Whenever I do KTR segment, sideline to sideline, and I try to see who Commerce is going to play just so I can give information. And I remember emailing you going like, dude, Blue Ridge has got some offense this year. They can actually score with people. Now, you look at the Gunter game, but again, the only 2 teams that have scored more points against Gunter was Anna and Salina.
Mm-hmm.
They have held everybody else to 7 points and under until Blue Ridge.
Yeah.
Just a note, I still don't think anybody's beaten Gunter in this region. I don't even know if it'll be close.
I don't think
even
anybody will get close.
Yeah, even with the good teams like Holiday and City View and all them. But I think Blue Ridge.
Holiday can get close, but
yeah,
are they ready to turn the corner? I don't know, man.
I don't know.
Actually, maybe they can.
Let's finish up with, I just want to say, I think Blue Ridge could end up playing a lot more weeks than people think in the playoffs. And now let's turn our attention to, I think, Holiday's most impressive win of the year.
This might be, look, Holiday 41, City View 14. I thought City View was going to out-athlete Holiday.
Yeah,
I really did. I did not expect.
And this was at City View.
I did not expect Holiday to win, and I certainly did not expect Holiday to blow City View out 41-14. But I'm eating my crow. Man, I'm intrigued now to watch more Holiday football.
Well, and remember, their 2 losses were to Benbrook, who at one time that would have been a what? But
and that was a close game.
Yeah, 33-29, and they lost to 2 to Jim Ned, and we know where Jim Ned is. So, yeah. I kind of agree with you. I think in this region, we still, I
think Holiday Gunter could be a doozy,
and I don't think we need to count out Jacksboro just yet. Again, their 2 losses were to Jim Ned and City View. I don't think they're as complete as a Holiday type team, though. Oh, I don't disagree with that, but we'll know at the end of the year. They play next week to finish out the season. Where do we go?
Tidehaven 38, Rice Consolidated 28.
You okay?
Yeah, sorry. Hiccups, burps, whatever.
We tried to tell.
But,
go ahead.
Rice Consolidated's defense had been so tough the first 6 games of the season, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now they're fighting on their weight in their same weight class, and this is what we see. And Tidehaven's a pretty darn good team.
Oh, and their defense has still been solid up into this game. Rice Consolidated has, yeah.
And we know what Tidehaven's going to be, but what does this do, in your opinion, for the Raiders of Rice Consolidated?
Well,
do you think they're still a region threat? Or?
Oh, no. I think this actually puts them back to where we thought they were going to be. A team.
Well, I think they're better than what we thought they were going to be, but they're not a region threat.
No, they might even make playoffs. It depends on if Vanderbilt Industrial wins out and them in Consolidated. Well, if they win out, Consolidated, Industrial will be over them. And if they only lose one more game, Rice Consolidated will need Boiling to be in there to make it a triple tiebreaker, because if it's head-to-head, they lost to Vanderbilt Industrial.
Yeah.
At the beginning of the year, we both thought Rice Consolidated could be better, which means with the way they've been the last few years, be in playoff contention. That's where they're at. I will say, though, Brad Dumont, again, coming back there, he is rebuilding that program. So even if they don't make it this year, if they finish 7-3 and miss the playoffs, you still hang your hat on, hey, we just got in a rough spot in a really tough district, but we're going to be better next year.
Yeah, and they will be better. All right, here's one of the upsets of the week in Class 3A. Blanco 38, wow. Lexington 28, a 10-point win. Blanco's now 6-3. Blanco racked up 308 yards of total offense against one of the best 3A defenses I've seen so far this year.
Yeah,
Lexington's defense against Caldwell was just lights out, and it wasn't just because who they were playing. I could tell they had the dudes up front, and the way Blanco exposed that, put up 38 points. That's a shock to me.
Well, and Blanco did what you have to do in these games when you're the underdog. You get up and you play keep away, and you grind down the defense. Every time Lexington looked like they were about to get back into the game, and to be fair, this game started out at one point 31-7 Blanco, and then it gets into
crazy.
Yeah, it gets to, I think it was 31-28, and then Blanco does what we all want. A lot of times when I say it's a 10 or 14 point game, they take the last couple minute drive and they just push it in and they end up making it a 10-point game.
Yeah.
So give Lexington credit for making the comeback. But dude, maybe this isn't as big of an upset as we thought. Because when you look at Blanco's 3 losses, 9 points to Hondo, 7 points to UC Randolph, and then 9 points to Yoakum. Those are all 3 solid quality losses.
Yeah, they are.
But yeah,
They are.
it's still shocking.
But I mean, getting the eye test, or
Yes.
Lexington passing the eye test and seeing them up close, I just thought there was no. I walked away from that Lexington game a few weeks ago saying there's nobody that's going to put up 20 plus points on them until late in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But here we go.
And maybe this, I feel like this is going to be, if anything else for Lexington, a chance to kind of go, okay, this is the first time we really got tested.
Sometimes losing a game's not the worst thing to happen,
Yep.
right? All right. Grant-Seline 28, Lone Oak 7. What a defensive slugfest this was. Grant-Seline's Chet Taylor runs for 127 yards and 2 touchdowns, but the Lone Oak defense did not let Grant-Seline run all over them. And Grant-Seline's defense did not allow the Lone Oak passing game to get started. So both defenses took away or limited each team's offensive power, right?
Yeah, and and first off, the game's was a lot closer than the score. It was 1 possession for a lot of that game, or 2 possession.
Yeah, the game was really close and about midway through the 4th quarter.
You got to start asking in Region 3, Class 3A, Division 2. Of course, we've got New Diana and we've got, Newton and all, but I think Grant-Seline is now legitimately thrown their hat into, hey, we feel that we can win this region.
Well, So I went back and watched a couple of Grant-Seline games online. I saw New Diana and Troop. And right now, I think Grant-Seline and New Diana would be a really good game, a really close game.
No, I agree 100% right there.
I think it'd be actually a high-scoring game. I don't think that New Diana defense could even begin to slow down the Grant-Seline running attack. I mean, New Diana struggled against Troop's running attack,
but could New Diana score? I mean, Grant-Seline is starting to put up. I mean, they can't score.
They can,
but
because that
against
quarterback for New Diana is something else, and they got an amazing receiver. New Diana and Grant-Seline would be one heck of a playoff game. I would actually maybe give Grant-Seline the nod as being the favorite in that game, though, because I just think Grant-Seline can pound the rock. And I don't know if New Diana's defense can stop it. But that's a little early.
Oh yeah, but but it's not too early. We're finally there to where we can start playing around with what ifs. Speaking of playing the run game and pounding the rock, Shallowater reminds everybody that there's still a team to watch out for.
We need to stop down everything before. Yeah, Shallowater 21, Bushland 20. Right.
Yep.
This was a defensive battle.
Yep.
Take nothing away from this game other than this game was a defensive battle. Both teams have elite defenses, right?
Yep.
Shallowater blocks a Bushland extra point that would have tied the game for Bushland.
This is Bushland every year. Just one of these games just come up and bites them.
You called this game, by the way.
Yes, I did.
I called Bushland to win a close one. You said Shallowater would win a close one.
And I said it because I'm repeating what I said now. Every year, Bushland, there's just this weird. I mean, this season for Bushland was cruising. I mean, like cruising, and they did. And it's not like they played bad. I think they'll say, "Hey, look, you take the turnovers away," and that was an issue. But I'm one of those that I know teams use that as not as an excuse, but hey, we wouldn't have won without turnovers. Okay, so the other team gets some credit for that, unless your quarterback and then you're not okay. So then is your quarterback okay if he's throwing 3 or 4 gimme interceptions? So yeah the turnovers hurt, but Shallowater created that. I don't take any.
Quite Ferris still did throw for like 233 yards.
Exactly, and I agree that the turnovers hurt. But I'm saying you got to give Shallowater credit. And we've talked about this all year. This feels like a game that we might see again. You're going to have to get through Comanche and Jim Ned and all that. But I still think these two teams proved last week that they're the top 2 teams.
Well, it just goes to show you this region is wide open, exactly like we said it was, right?
Yeah.
Brock's out of there. moving up to 4A, and we said this region is wide open, made the best man win, and this is exactly what we're seeing, a wide open region.
And what I like about it is this is one of those games you walk away going, both of these teams are good. Both of these teams are awesome. And by the way, folks, talking about wide open, Sweetwater's starting to come around, and maybe they've already came around as they are now. They've beat the top two teams in their district, and now top two outside of Jim Ned. They've got Jim Ned in 2 weeks, and that'll be a great. Okay, where are you at going into the playoffs?
For Sweetwater, I might have to go to that game actually.
All right. Oh, you just want to? Well, no, the chicken place closed, didn't it?
Oh, that's in Sweetwater.
The chicken. The family.
No,
chicken?
I know the game's in Sweetwater.
Oh, I don't even know. Oh no, it's in Jim Ned.
Oh
no, it is in Sweetwater. It is in Sweetwater.
Oh,
I'm sorry,
okay.
it's in Sweetwater.
I was about to say I could make a trip out to Perini Ranch.
Well, you also need.
I don't think
you need to get
Sweetwater is. I'm going to tell you right now. I don't think Sweetwater is on the same level as Shallowater and Bushland.
We'll find out that last playoff game. I mean, that
not
last
even
game.
Close. I think these two.
I don't disagree with you. I'm just saying we'll find out.
Pretty close.
You need to go to Jim Ned. You need to get your cavities and your prostate exam from the same guy.
Guy?
Yeah, you realize that was a dude the whole time, right?
No.
Oh.
Oh.
I mean, his name's like Kurt.
No,
or John.
prostate exams from
Brett,
the guy.
Ben. I mean, he's been waiting, man. He keeps sending me pictures of his fingers, and like he's got this special glove. It's called the Fister or something. I don't know. Speaking of fisting,
like that picture,
Edna.
That picture. It's Fister. Fister. I just met her. All right. Edna, 49. Goliad, 21. Edna's quarterback, Chase Schubert, runs for 109 yards, threw for 144 yards. Braylon Harris, 6 catches for 101 yards and 2 touchdowns.
I feel like the years that we've been covering Edna, and especially the last 5 years where they've just always been, at least 2 rounds in the playoffs. We always talk about physicality, and we always talk about their defense. And
it's physicality because they keep running up against Franklin. Well, nobody's going to match.
No. I'm saying we talk Edna's positively, like their physicality and their defense, but we sometimes don't talk enough about their offense. And this offense this year, I mean, when you look at against, I mean, dude, they destroyed Bay City 35-7.
Right.
On the 4A show and all across the state of Texas, everybody's lauding, and they should, Bay City after their win over El Campo. Edna beat them going away. And then, the next week they dropped 42 on Refugio.
Right.
This Edna team, dude, I don't know. It feels like they're getting close to punching through finally.
I think they are. I think there's still that monster ahead of them.
Whoever comes out of Region 3, Franklin or Columbus,
we'll see. That story is, this story is left to be, the final chapter has yet to be written. But I think Edna is more equipped to handle those type teams.
I agree.
Palestine Westwood 42, Teague 36. Tough game for Westwood. Their quarterback, Kavian Bryant, was ejected from the game with under 2 minutes left in the first half. And after that, Westwood struggled to move the football. They kind of limped into halftime with 28-15 lead. And then that's when, the Westwood defense just took over and kind of held Teague, who was threatening basically with a game-tying touchdown when they got down to the Westwood 13-yard line. His time expired, and the Westwood defense was able to hold on.
Okay, and you're also bearing, of course, the massive lead part of that. We did the show last week, and of course we record on Tuesdays or Wednesdays. On Thursday, the UIL not only reversed the going forward for Palestine Westwood on their games, they also gave them back their district wins. Looking back, I think that's fair. Look, I think coaches videotaping signals is stupid. You should be suspended. But are you really, is that what won you over Crockett?
Actually, from what I've read, he was just with a dude that wasn't even on the staff, just taping, parts of the game with his phone.
Mm-hmm.
And he was just right there next to him. So I don't even think they were. I don't know.
Even if they were,
I don't know if it's egregious or not.
I'm just saying, even if they were, is that why they beat Crockett 63-14?
No.
Why they beat Diboll 41-13? No.
They didn't need all that.
They didn't need all that. But you did see this week. First off, even though they gave up 36 points, good job out for the defense making the key stop. But you did see the whole thing of if Kavian Bryant's not in the game, this is a very average team.
Well, I don't know about average, but it's not near as good.
No.
Right? I mean, Kavian Bryant is among the top 3 athletes in Class 3A. If not
yes.
the best athlete, probably the best athlete in Class 3A.
And I
so
know
you take him out of the equation, they're beatable. You put him in there, they're not necessarily beatable in the region, right?
Well, I mean, Franklin, Columbus.
Oh, there is Franklin and
Hitchcock.
Columbus. Yeah, I keep forgetting.
And that's my whole...
I'm putting them up in Region 2 in my brain.
I do in my brain all the time, too, because of where they're at. But at the end of the day, I like what Westwood's doing, and I think they're going to play for a couple weeks, but I have no trust that they can beat a Franklin if it comes down to it.
Well, Franklin, with him in it, I mean, he's the X factor, and if he decides one night to just absolutely go off...
But I mean, not punch anybody, go off. You can't do that, dude.
I mean, you got a dude like that. I mean, you can beat anybody. It would take the perfect night, and that's where Westwood's at.
But that's what happens in the playoffs every year, dude.
Yeah.
Good teams have a perfect night and beat better teams.
Right.
I mean, that happens. Good point. Yeah. All right. That's going to do it for the review section. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to preview Week 10, 3A, and, of course, Coach X right here on Sideline to Sideline, the 3A edition.
Hey, I mean, that's a good point.
I think we might start seeing some go back.
Hi, I'm Josh Bell with the Miami Marlins. I wear NeuroGuard to help with strength and coordination when I'm in the weight room and help with balance when I'm on the baseball field.
One of the most comfortable, reduces concussion, increases performance. You can't get a mouthpiece like that on the market.
Not only is it a great product, it's super easy to use. I recommend it for any player, any age, at any level. Thank you guys so much, and go check out NeuroGuard Plus.
NeuroGuard mouthpiece makes it easier to breathe while playing basketball. The unique design is not as bulky as any other mouthpiece and makes you feel safe in concussions.
NeuroGuard. They control my breathing while I'm riding. It stops me getting concussions while I wreck. It's very easy to use, so go pick one up today.
I'm still doing stunts. And the concussions I've got, I feel much safer with that. I'm doing, like I said, I'm doing a whole lot better in the gym. So NeuroGuard Plus, once this one wears out, you've got a customer for life, because I'm telling you people, NeuroGuard Plus is the way to go, and me, Mark Ash, says so.
Parents, kids, coaches, NeuroGuard. It's the future. Stay tuned.
Want to remind everybody to check out Big Country Blitz as they cover all the high school football and college football in Big Country. You can check them out at bigcountryblitz.com. We appreciate them being a sponsor. They gave us 3 really great ads. That's going to be something we have to keep doing. And I mean, I think that's how we found some of our people like Sunray fans and such like that. So we do appreciate everybody that joins us from them. And please go back and check them out. All right. It's the preview time of the show. You know what that means? It means it's Coach X, and he has a good one this week. Well, if you know, type of deal. All right. Hey, Terrence and Bartholomew, I have an idea. We need to get out to our viewers, listeners, and any other passerbys, but particularly the coaches. So every coach that listens, put down your SpaghettiOs, stop watching the game film, pay attention. We've got something you want to talk about or want to do here. Wait, where did it go? Oh, there it went. There we go. Let's have a competition for you guys. I'm talking about gold ball season. No, Grant, not what you got in Tijuana. I'm talking about district
That was yellowish green. Wasn't
Again,
gold.
that's why you need to go to Jim Ned.
It was.
Your doctor is waiting up there for you, man. He said he would do it for
need a prostate
all
exam.
he said you would need to do is give him a shirt, and I think he wanted you to pat him on the back or reach around or something. I couldn't remember what he said on that one.
Not if I'm getting the exam. I need the.
Contrary to popular songs,
I know how this works, and you're wrong.
Contrary to popular songs, this is the most wonderful time of the year. That's right, playoff system. So let's have a competition for you guys that are winning trophies. Each week you win a ball, gold ball. Take a picture of it in a spot that it's not supposed to be in. So not like your kids holding it up or you're putting it onto the trophy. No, we're talking places like a bathroom, under a desk, a bedroom.
Palestine.
Maybe
you take it to Palestine.
They are the leaders in the clubhouse. Maybe resting on something. I think a lot of coaches would be really excited about a competition like this. Have fun with it, and let's see what we get. Maybe involve your family. 18 or older. I think this is going to be fun. Send your submissions to @GrantTerry or @CoachPicks. That's on Twitter. And that is what Coach X has
I don't
to
know
say.
if we need the pictures. If it's
just saying, man.
Oh, man. I hope we don't need something from these people.
I think that's the great thing about
this is an inside joke.
This is one of my favorite inside jokes because we do inside show jokes.
I think a lot of coaches probably know maybe around in the district. Right. But
I'll say this when we kind of I said a drop reference last week to this, and the coaches that follow me or that message me on Smokey privately, 3 of them literally just responded with "seen it." So I'm just gonna say anyway. We do thank Coach X, and he'll be giving
it. Thank you, Huddle.
Hey, sometimes you got to go deep. You got to really go deep in your scouting. I'm just saying.
Wow.
No stone unturned.
Played.
All right. It's going to be a shorter preview week, but we do have some good ones.
Not that many great games, but the ones that are really damn good.
And let's start out in Northeast Texas. This is one that
3A game of the week right here.
Yeah. I was just checking. Yeah, I agree. Very much so. This is, again, we talk about like Hitchcock, Columbus, Shallowater, Bushland. This is a very much possible we will see this game again later on in the playoffs. And of course, we're talking about the Jefferson Bulldogs and the Liberty-Eylau Leopards.
Yes. Jefferson comes into this game with Cameron Williams at running back, one of the best running backs Class 3A. Thomas Taylor, a quarterback, wide receivers, Travis Gray, Chris Love, and Jackery Johnson. Ellie's only loss was to Carthage, right? They've got a dang good quarterback in Trip Basinger, 1,600 yards passing, 530 yards rushing. His receiver, though, in Duquesne Prevost, might be one of the best receivers in Class 3A.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. And
he is a big-time playmaker. The defense is really good. This is Jefferson's first real challenge of the year, I think.
Dude, Leonard.
Okay.
What about Newton? What about Newton, man?
Newton. But I don't think Newton has the hosses up front like LE does.
I do want to disagree.
LE is
it's Brad Willard.
Physical.
Brad Willard is one of those guys.
I mean, he builds his teams off this physicality.
Some guys just can look at players and know where I need to put them to make them fit, what routes we need to run consistently to make them fit. But I will disagree slightly. I think the weakness of Liberty-Eylau is their defense. When you
defense, yeah. Well, looking at their schedule, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they still gave up 36 to Tatum, and Tatum's solid.
Tatum was ranked at the time.
Oh, no. I'm saying Tatum is solid. I'm not knocking them. I'm saying they're solid. And
Tatum
we don't know
is the Vanderbilt of.
Speaking of, we didn't mark it on the run sheet. I meant to mention this. We have a good East Texas following. What happened last week with Tatum? That can't just be Atlanta just decided to play their best game of the year and throttle you 42-7. Let us know. Grant and Terry at S2Ssport.com. Message me on our messages, our Facebook, Sideline to Sideline. I'm on Smokey at TX Broadcaster. You don't really go on there much anymore as far as to chat. Like you just go and read stuff. So if somebody in the know, let us know what happened. That just came out of nowhere. But no, I'm not saying Liberty-Eilau's defense is bad. I just think that if you're going to beat Liberty-Eylau, it's probably going to be in a shootout, and you're going to probably score 40 points. And I kind of think that's where I'm leaning. I like Jefferson, but man, that home field, I don't know.
LE in this one.
I'll go with Jefferson since you're going with LE.
That's not very Christian-like. Why would you do that?
That would be exactly Christian-like. We're both going.
No, you're being a contrarian.
Contrarian. How would wait? We're about to get real. I can't think of the word right now. How do I know you're not the contrarian?
Well, because I didn't know your pick before, jackass.
Wow. Okay.
Sorry.
Here we go. Grant gets beer mad. Look, it's not his fault. I walked into the door.
No, look.
No, this is a pick-em game.
Outside of, you did bring up Newton, and I got you there. You got me there, right? But outside of Newton, what has Jefferson really seen all year? I don't think they've seen the athleticism of what Basinger and Prevost are going to show them, right? And I think this LE defense is better than maybe what their paper shows. I like LE. I think it's going to be a darn good game. I don't think LE is going to stop Cameron Williams for sure, right? Yeah. But I think LA can move the ball on that Jefferson defense.
I agree with that. I agree. I think this is a 42-40 type of game.
Oh, yeah, I do too. I think it's close, and I think it's high scoring, but I like LE.
You know what?
And this is in Texarkana.
Well, speaking of, this game reminds me.
Doesn't all teams in Texarkana get home cooking?
Yeah, it's one of those that always seems like
right?
it. Yeah, look at how Texas High screwed Mark. No, it was a great game.
We watched that.
Yeah.
They did not get screwed.
Well, did they win?
No.
They got screwed. Or time ran out. Well, actually,
y'all didn't lose. Marshall didn't lose. They just ran out of time.
Oddly, in that game, that technically is kind of how it happened.
Yeah.
But this game, I don't know.
But I do want to remind you, Marshall got 3 calls while they're on offense against the defense to extend.
That's not the point.
Drive, so
do not show facts in this election season. We don't need facts. I just think this is going to be one. This is going to come. I don't think this is far off from Hitchcock Columbus type game.
No, I
think this is going to be just a huge. Exactly. I'm going to go with Jefferson.
One team actually might go down by 2 touchdowns and still win this game.
We know what.
Why aren't we going to this game?
We're going to Brock Graham.
Which is going to be equally as good.
Oh, I think that's actually a better. Well, I don't know if that's a better.
I don't know.
That's a good question.
I don't know if you can get a better game than Jefferson and Liberty-Eylau. This is going to be a doozy.
You're going LE. I'm going Jefferson. Here's what Coach X has to say. Old school East Texas matchup with 2 new school offenses that will be a huge game in the standings. This sounds like a game that Grant and Tear Bear should grace their presence with, but they probably won't. They are DFW now. Dude that was born on the dirt floor in Alto and a dude that was raised to be the Marshall version of
remember that.
Bam Bam Bigelow and now drinking sparkling water and decaf cappuccinos. For shame. Jefferson wins, though.
There you go, Coach X. Look.
That's actually sparkling water. He pours them all out before the show.
With the pinky up.
He feeds my cat the beer.
Where's my charcuterie board?
Hey, those are awesome. Don't knock those, man. That's
I
my
like cured meat and cheese.
That's my NFL Sunday. I love the fact that somebody pointed out that you can tell we're the generation that started Lunchables because that's all we do is make adult Lunchables.
All right, East Chambers versus Orangefield, another great game. Both teams are 6-2 coming into this game.
Okay.
It's you. Now, all right, I'll go. East Chambers quarterback, KJ Fontenot.
I don't know why I want to do that tonight. You do that you lay out on me all the time, so it's kind of fun to
never do that.
But no.
KJ Fontenot for East Chambers, dual threat quarterback, X Factor,
boy,
right?
When East Chambers is good, they always seem to have that type of quarterback.
Yeah.
And I don't know if East Chambers is the 2018, 2019, 12-2 type good, but I think they're starting to round into form.
Yeah. Remember, their 2 losses were not real close.
One of them was
by 3. Well, no, they weren't. They were all by 3 touchdowns to Woodville, 27-7.
Wait, who are you talking
about? Orangefield.
Oh, I was talking about East Chambers. I'm sorry.
Oh, no. I'm talking about Orangefield.
No. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Woodville 27-7, Bridge City 28-7, 3 touchdowns.
Yeah. No. I thought East Chambers, they had one bad loss, 27-0. The Rise Consolidated. And then a couple weeks ago, they lost to Anahuac, but it was 53-48. So that's what I thought you were talking about that game.
No.
And that's that's kind of a head scratching loss, by the way.
Yeah. Still, everything's telling me to take Orangefield, but I'm taking East Chambers in this.
I'm going to go with Orangefield. It's at home. They're now on, and again, I know Bridge City lost last week, but that loss doesn't look as bad now with what Bridge City has done this year in their 4A team. They just lost to LCM last week in a really close game. I know you know, calibration and comparison, but I mean, Orangefield destroyed Anahuac 38-0, and then promptly the very next week, Anahuac drops 53 on East Chambers. Just one of those, again, it could have been just a weird game. Those happen, but I'm going to go with Orangefield. And this is also East Chambers' last regular season game. I always think that's interesting. Let's go to see what East Chamber or what Coach X has to say. I got to give it to the Buccaneers. They at least know their directions. They're in the eastern part of the state and have East in their name, unlike Center, West, or Eastland. So on that alone, with the knowledge of geography,
Centers is named after Larry Centers.
My mom knows him. They will roll through.
Does she now?
He worked for the railroad after he retired, and my mom was like,
yeah, it worked the same. Yeah, a lot of movies I see start out like that.
Anyway, Coach X says they will roll through.
Do you think you might? Is there any possibility you're Larry Center's son?
I want to first go no, and then also
why do you look at your hands?
And also, if I'm not mistaken,
or something,
Larry Centers is like only 40. I think he might be my age. He might be a little bit older.
Before,
no, he's 56. So he was 9,
dude.
No, he was.
Do you know how virile I was at 9?
No, that was viral. You had bad diseases. Anyway,
I was always told I was virile, but maybe they were saying viral.
So you have East Chambers. I have Orangefield, and Coach X has East Chambers as well.
All right. Hitchcock versus Yoakum. Pretty game on paper. No, Hitchcock wins this one even without Lloyd Jones. That's why I brought this up, because Lloyd Jones the third, like Lloyd Jones the third, he could be on Gilligan's Island.
Oh, like Mr. What was his name? Oh, God dang it.
Lovey. Thurston Howell the third.
Yeah, Thurston Howell the third. No, I want to. It's not just Lloyd Jones the third being hurt. That's a big one. But you said it best, dude. These two teams, you know, they're having to come out of that game. You know, there was a ton of ice baths going and all that. And, you know, I think to compare, I think Columbus will throttle Hallettsville, but don't be surprised if that game is closer early. And I think, I'm not going to say Yoakum has a chance to beat Hitchcock. I'm just saying we're now all looking at Hitchcock and we want to see how you respond. Now, the great thing is they're another team. If they can just get through this game, they get their bye week next week. And for the Bulldogs of Hitchcock, that could be huge. Give me Hitchcock, but don't be surprised if this is way closer than what
I think. It will be a little bit closer because Yoakum's got athleticism.
Well, and, you know,
athleticism, right?
This is one of those years where Yoakum is 5-3, and they've played their tough schedule, and they've lost all the three games that they played. But they beat Vanderbilt Industrial. And look at what they've done. They've turned their season around. They beat Port Lavaca Calhoun, a undefeated in District 4A team that's going to be playing El Campo this week for a chance to put themselves in a district championship game next week against Bay City. Yeah. So, and they beat Blanco, and look what Blanco did against Lexington this past week. So I think this is good. I think this was already going to be a trap game after the emotional game of Columbus, but also the fact of the injuries and how physical that game was.
Zen Yoakum and Bo Robinson knows how to win games at home.
I'm not saying they're going to win, but don't be surprised if you wake up and this is a 31-24 type of game.
All right. Bushland versus Dalhart. Both teams are 7-1. I think Bushland gets back on track here, right?
The worst
Dalhart's a solid team, but they are not solid like Shallowater was. I don't think Dalhart has the defense that Shallowater did. Give me Bushland in this one by 7-14 points. 14-21.
The worst thing that happened to Dalhart was Bushland losing last week.
Right, yeah.
I think Bushland is angry. I think Quad Ferris and that offense.
Do you remember how physical that Bushland defense was and how well that offense executed? They've got it all worked out now. Dalhart, the Wolves, they might pay.
Oh, I think they will. Sadly, I mean, not sadly, they're going to make the playoffs, but they're 1-0 in district, but they've got to play Bushland. Oh, no. Dalhart's a team that could win a playoff game or two, but I just don't think. And again, I think you could have caught Bushland in a trap game after Sweetwater or Shallowater. I don't think so this time. I'm not going to say Bushland names their own score, but I don't think it'll be far off.
Right. All right. two 6-2 teams are facing off Friday night, and Slayton and Idalou. Give me Idalou though.
Yeah, give me Idalou. It's funny though, because I can't remember what it was that I was looking at with Slayton. It might have been last week's show or one of those. Hang on, I'm pulling up my notes on them. I actually made a note on them. Oh, and it was it was Post, because I was talking about Post. Going into 2 weeks ago, their only loss was to Post, and Post last year was bad. Post is unbeaten this year, and I thought, okay, let's check the Tigers out. And then they let Littlefield just drum them 2 weeks ago, 55-36. If that wouldn't have happened, I would have said, hey, this could be a trap game. But Idalou is just quietly, after losing back-to-back games, a 4-pointer to Shallowater. That Wall game did get out from them at the end of the day, and they ended up losing that. But other than that, man, Idalou has a really pretty resume, and I think they might name their own score against Slayton.
I do too. And Idalou does have a pretty resume, by the way. When we're comparing these in 2 weeks for the playoffs, Idalou's going to stand there, and you're going to look at Idalou, look at their schedule, and think there is a chance they get out of this region.
Yep, they're one of those teams that they're going to have that record, and if they're going to get that first couple rounds. And again, you're talking here about a Region 1 that Canadian is down this year. Wall has been, Wall's been weird. I don't really know what to think about Wall. Like, outside of just they've had a good season, but like in the playoffs. And then, Idalou's going to be sitting there going, wait a minute, we're just as good as any of these teams. We can, I know they lost the Wall, so don't point that out. I'm just saying they at least feel they're competitive.
All right, final game of the night, Brady versus Toller. Both teams are 4-1. I'm sorry, 7-1.
Let me get Coach X out of the way on this one.
Oh, okay.
The bunch is...
Please get him out of the way.
The bunch, Brady, is playing the Snake Farm. Just sounds nasty. Pretty much is. Do you know the guy that wrote the Snake Farm song?
Yes, Carl... Yes.
My wife knows him.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I know the guy that sang it.
Yeah. Well, was he not the same guy
that Snake
wrote
Farm
it? I thought
down, that's the same Snake Farm where the monkey threw shit at my face.
Exactly.
You remember that?
Yeah, I think we talked this story earlier.
New Braunfels.
Yes.
Yeah. He threw poop at my face.
Yes. But anyway,
I was throwing rocks at him.
And I know Toller's not the same.
Back. He didn't hit me, though.
Anyway.
And I hit him. So
you fought a monkey? You're lucky to get your face ripped off.
Well, he was in a cage, dude.
So then you tortured a poor animal in a cage?
I didn't torture. I just was tossing pebbles to see what he would do.
Like pebbles?
He picked up like rocks, pebbles, and do that. Not fruity pebbles like cereal.
Oh,
no.
That's entirely.
And then he picked up some poop and just threw it at me.
And did you pick up some poop and throw it back? Or just not have to go at the time?
I didn't have to.
Don't you wish you could be like an animal and just, you want to fight? Hang on. And just poop on command?
Well, that's usually how I poop.
Well, no, that's usually a Saturdays after a long Friday of drinking.
Or date night.
Wait. Oh, is that
Why
the
don't you
proctologist?
like me? Maybe because you threw a load of feces in my face.
I keep telling you.
Well, other than that, why don't you like me? You walked out on the ticket.
Anyway, so Coach, let me finish Coach X.
Okay.
Toller has a keen sense of humor with a tattoo down their arm. But now and then a kid gets bit at the Snake Farm. That's what's going to happen to the Bradys and their bunch. Rattlers win.
Ooh.
Look, I want to say this. Everybody was like, oh, when Toller moves up, Coach Mullins is gone and they're going to be in 3A and they're going to learn their lesson. In the first week, they get beat by Peachter 10-0. And everybody's like, see, we told you. Peachter, by the way, is a pretty solid team this year.
Yeah.
But since then, they've rolled off 7 straight wins. I'm not going to say that they have beat the 3A Division II bell cows, but they're still winning solid games, like beating Comanche 14-7, beating Teague.
That's a really good win, by the way.
Beating Teague 23-21, and we just talked about them taking Palestine Westwood to the mat. I think people need to realize that
Toller played Teague.
Yeah, I remember in week 2 that was that weird. Like, where did this game?
Right. And won 43-21. I do remember.
No, they won 23-21.
23-21. Okay.
Yeah, it was that weird. I love these weird cross
sections.
sections.
Always going to be athletic.
Oh yeah, and again, look what they did against Westwood last week.
Look, Toller wins this game. I know, like Brady comes in with a really strong running game with 2 really good running backs and Johnny Minifield and Ashton Taylor, but yeah, that Toller defense playing really well all year. Britton Bryce, quarterback's thrown for about 1,400 yards. Peyton Brown's back.
Yeah,
never. For whatever reason, I just assumed Peyton Brown had
graduated.
Well, see, but no, he's averaging over 6 yards a carry.
The thing that I never understood, I got the idea because they were losing Isaac Blessing. But let's remember, last year Blessing was out for like 90% of the year. And They still were great.
Right.
And I know they were moving up, but everybody was so quick to be like, well, that was nice. Toller returned 14 starters from a team that over the last
they
two,
moved
they moved up. But I'll tell you what, when again, in this region, yes, we all know it's Gunter, but I don't think they're going to be afraid to play Holiday. Look at who they've played over the last few years.
I don't think Toller would be afraid to play Gunner.
I was just about to say the same thing. I mean, if you're Toller and you played Timpson last year, and then you're playing Gunner, I'm not saying that they're going to beat Gunner, but I'm saying there's not going to be any intimidation.
No.
I've got Toller in this one. I think they can name their own score.
I got Toller. I think it's by 2-3 touchdowns. I don't think it's quite name your own score.
I have no problem with
but
that.
I think it's close.
All right.
Or close to that.
Are we done?
I think we're done.
Week 10 is in the books. We've got one more week till the playoffs start, folks, and we cannot wait. Remind you, if you listen to the show and you want to see it video-wise, youtube.com/@L4 Media Company. If you watch it, but sometimes you can only listen, all you got to do. You can also do that through YouTube Music. I do want to point that out. If you want to listen to the podcast and you don't have a lot of podcast apps, but you do have YouTube Music or YouTube, you can listen as a podcast to YouTube Music. But also we're at S2SGrantandTerry.com and on all podcast platforms. Be safe in your travels. And until next week, he's Grant Goodwin. I'm Terry Bennett, and this has been the Class 3A Week 10 edition of Sideline to Sideline, brought to you by NeuroGuard Plus, Big Country Blitz, and Lazy Dog Kettle Corn on L4 Media.
Like a blindside blitz, they ain't looking when